we saw people running on the other side of the road between Kaduna and Abuja. You know, Kaduna going um, northwards, and we saw people running southwards on the other side as a dual carriageway, and saw cars turning back and driving one way. So the driver, very experienced young man, went to the other side going northwards and driving on the wrong side now, and we saw people running on foot. What happened when we looked on the other side where we had just left? We saw this very big black. I, they were oozing evil out of them with guns in their hands, and they had attacked cars traveling. Some cars had some assaulted, and they were taking people in the bush. You know the normal thing. So why am I saying this? 2001, 2018, same thing was happening. Meanwhile, that was 3 years into Buhari's government, where they said all manner of things about the PDP. But I like to clump it all together. It is Nigeria. Every successive government will blame the previous one to say, oh, they will do better. Oh, these people are crazy. These people cannot do anything. But Nigerians have to be more serious and responsible for their own security. If elections don't count, we know those we want to vote for, and it matters. Our security matters. I've tried to personalize, but it's not just me. 200 million Nigerians are vulnerable to the same thing that happened to Somi. We are open to the same attack. And that's why today I wish the same thing on every APC supporter, every Tinubu supporter. May his good governance meet you. May it meet your family. I have lost friends, I have lost family to bad governance. But may Tinubu's good governance meet you and your family right in your house. May his good intentions be manifest in your life. I yield.
All right. Gosh, Roy, I'm not even sure where to start. I just put a topic there. I just call it "Which Way Nigeria" because the death of this young lady, as I said earlier on, just brought a lot of bad memories. Yeah, that guy, okay, died. I think he died on the 22nd, right? And he put a tweet on 21st of October, 2020, and then before we know it, we heard that the bullet have just, hit him. I think it was the same day that he died. But that was one thing. One of the last tweet that okay put out there was Nigeria will not end me. I think the next day Nigeria ended the young boy's life, and now you saw this young lady that left the UK and just coming back to see what she can do to help the fatherland that she loves so much, or the motherland, whichever, or the uncle land, or whatever Nigeria is. And she just lost her life because of insecurity, right? Yes, a lot of people are blaming the hospital. I'm not here to say the hospital didn't do insecurity in the FCT, and Nyesom Wike is the one in charge, right? So this is the reality. What is he doing to stop these things? I mean, this is not the only thing that happened in FCT. There's a lot of kidnapping. People are losing their life. People are being mugged and everything. But what we see is just changing everything, the names of everything to Bola Ahmed Tinubu's name, which if it's what they want to do, that's fine. But then again, the thing that people require from you is just provide security. How is it possible in a capital, in the federal capital, that criminals came? I can't remember how many of them because I was not there. There's so many stories. But let's just say these guys came and they were robbing a whole flat and there was no security in the capital of Nigeria. And the media, for some reason, don't look at it from that angle. Daily Trust is very comfortable to open a space, discuss about Nigeria qualifying for this thing. This thing is not a big news. The death of those in Kwara State that lost their lives. A village, people in Kwara State are being chased out from their own home by criminals. And we are comfortable with it. The Nigerian media don't see it as a big news, as a serious. Anyway, let me, Roy, you raise your hand.
Yes, mindsets. You raised a very good point that gave me a point to touch on. You see, if the leaders were subject to the same thing the people are subject to, like in many places, as an example, you can go on a train in the United Kingdom and you might meet the Prime Minister, former or present, or the mayor at least. I know that one for a fact, that the mayor will be riding the same train, same coach as you. You can meet anybody anywhere. They don't have special privileges beyond what is reasonable that would make them sensitive to the feelings of the people, because they know, oh, if I do not fix these things, I could fall victim of it. But in Nigeria, the case is not so. Tinubu's convoy is crazy. The security is something else. Like you said, everybody's providing water for themselves, light for themselves, and health. So, yes, we cannot blame the hospital. Why don't we look at healthcare in Nigeria? What is the healthcare? All these people can go abroad. Education, the same thing. All of them and their children can go to the best schools anywhere in the world. Shopping, they don't shop in the same markets as the ordinary Nigerians. So, when we call for them being sensitive, or we call for better governance or to end bad governance, and they, as we already know them, they are good at propaganda, they are good at releasing their Dobermans and dogs on ordinary citizens. Unless they start to go through what Nigerians go through, unless we all come together to say this is what we want, it will still be the same. They don't ply the roads that we ply. They fly in the air. They have private jets. Buhari's daughter was taking pictures with a presidential jet. But in all of these things, they will tell you he was a man of integrity. We lie to ourselves. So the demand for good governance should be an everyone thing. They don't suffer what ordinary Nigerians suffer. They will tell you, oh, Naira has improved because it moved one digit up, and not because of their good economic policies or fiscal or whatever way you want to look at it, or because in other places things are happening and affecting they, what direction, where. This is going into the third year of Tinubu's government. What has he articulated in terms of his plan? Where are we going? They will tell you his economic reforms are working. What are those reforms? In clear terms, what are those reforms? Performance from when he took over to now. What has he done? What are the metrics we're measuring him on? We are. We should take it more seriously. I yield. Thank you.
Right, I'm not sure where to. I'm not sure if there's anything to add. I'm just trying to see if I can heal. I'm trying to heal because sometimes you think yeah. I think I remember what my wife said to me a few years back. I can't remember exactly what year that was, but everything that happened, most of the things that happened in that 2020 and such. A lot of us we have not healed though. Let's not lie to ourselves. So if it means that one needs to mentally go for, I'm looking for a word right now. I can't even remember the word. I'm so, what, there's a word I'm looking for. Somebody can help me out, please.
Therapy, grief.
Therapy. Thank you very much. That's the one I'm looking for. Good evening, Ola. Therapy. I think I did. This is the truth. I did, but I do not. I thought I have healed, but I'm not healed. That's the truth. I'm not healed because the mental side of this thing, they think is over, but it's not over. Something will trigger something, right? It's been a very difficult day. It's been a very difficult day for me. It's been a very, very difficult because I know who the lady is. It's just because it brought a very memory of the young guy that tweeted Nigeria will not end me. And then before we knew it, Nigeria ended him on the 21st of October, 2020. The next day that happened. And um, the whole thing about people losing their life on 2020, I mean, so please, I wanted to understand that, yes, this is not a normal mindset, but it's just that I don't know if I would say I'm upset, but I'm just trying to see how I can get myself together, to be productive for myself, for my family, and be able to do my work. But this is, being on this space and speaking to every one of you, that might help. Who else want to speak? Ola, you have the mic. I think Ola is next, yeah? I don't know who next want to speak. Ola?
Yeah.
Is that Ola? Who else?
Hi, Mindset. Good evening, everyone. You said something by, when people are grieving or people are in this mood, at times it's good to talk. So you doing this is possibly giving you an outlet to, rather than keep it bottled in. It's quite painful. And I listened to Roy earlier on, talking about his own personal experiences in Nigeria. Um, and I just wanted to add a few things. We were all here, or most of us were all here, like Mindset, you said. We saw what happened on 20th of October 2020. We saw what happened. I'm sure people will remember that lady who was on the train and was saying, I've been shot. And some people were making fun of her, that how can you be shot and you still are on your phone? And they later found out that it was true that he was shot. We remember the doctor at, is it the hospital in Lagos State, owned by Lagos State, that died in that elevator. We saw a few weeks ago the building that caught fire in Lagos, and those guys that died, they didn't die from being burned, they died from smoke inhalation. And then you've got this case of this young lady. Now, when you look at all of these, you see it's more or less like Nigeria keeps on eating its own people. And what is the value of a Nigerian life? Because if a life of a Nigerian has value, now all of these cases that I've just highlighted were things that could have been preventable. There are things that could have been stopped if the right things have been put in place. And we say these things time and time again, that if you don't take action in correcting a wrong cause, then time and time and time again, bad things will keep on happening. And that's what we see in Nigeria. And unfortunately, it feels like the Nigerian populace have become so desensitized to these issues, and they all stem from poor governance. We joke, I wouldn't say we joke, we mentioned that elections have consequences, that your vote has a value, you need to do this and everything. But the amount of times we're seeing village getting sacked and people running out of village, and the governor going to find a 2015 picture and posting it like the Nigerian Air Force are pushing back on the invaders or the terrorists invading the village in Kwara State, and nothing will happen. He will get away with it. We saw, you know, for years we had an area being told that you can't go out on a Monday, and nothing happened. You have a breakdown of security, and then unfortunately we have this a president now who, when he was in opposition, used to say the buck stops at the desk of the president who was of another party, Goodluck Jonathan, and raised everything against him. And now in his own time, the same thing is happening. And by tomorrow, like Mindset was saying, newspapers are not, or media are not giving this coverage that it demands. Even the Arise that she works for, in a few weeks' time, we see the likes of Abati hanging out or, talking with Inso Wiki and looking all chummy parties. It seriously, we can't. I don't. I can't. I don't want to sound insensitive, but when people say you can't cry more than the bereaved, this is what they're talking about. Nigeria can't keep on happening to people, even though we don't know them, and people will just say, "Oh, okay, it's happened," then we move on. It will never. Nigeria will never get better. Nigeria would ever get it. We saw that high rise that happened, that collapsed in Lagos, the foreshore one. I don't think anybody has ever been arranged and tried for culpable manslaughter. How many times do we have to list these things that shouldn't have happened? In that building, they said they got a planning permission for, I think, 4 or 5 stories, but the guy thought, why not? I'm going to raise it. Building collapsed. These are those things that we keep on saying. And I hate to be one of those people that says in a signed claim, these things wouldn't happen. How can somebody, armed robbers go there? Yes, there is no response, and there is no emergency service to take them to the hospital. There was a case a few months ago about this guy that was from Canada, a tech guy that got hit in Lagos coming back from a nightclub. Similar story, nothing has happened. The lady that allegedly hit him was more connected. It's just a sad tale of woes. And that's the other thing that we do. We don't keep stats. Because if we keep a statistics and we say, okay, from 2015 or from 2023, how many deaths have we had, or how many of these incidents? You probably give a coloration to all this and make it and drive it home that look, these people are brothers, sisters, fathers, sons, daughters, nephew, nieces of people. And it's unfair that families have to keep on burying their loved ones. Thank you very much, Mindset.
Thank you, Ola, for coming on this space. I think it's good to listen to people sharing their own experience. And as I said, it's not. I wasn't planning to open a spaces, but it's been a very, very difficult day for me, work-wise. I mean, today has been one of those days that you try to find something to do. You can't walk. You try to find something to watch. There is absolutely nothing that makes it, apart from my family and everything. The moment my kid came back to school, it appears okay, it's better. So I look forward to seeing my wife coming back in the evening. You just wanted something to brighten up your day, right? Everywhere looks so moody. It looks so cloudy. For me, there's a lot going on in my brain. I took the courage opening spaces. You can hear the noise in the background, so it actually helped me because I really I like to hang around my family. So it's kind of therapeutic for me. But speaking and coming on spaces with you guys, I think it's been very, very helpful. So thanks to you guys for having the courage to come up and speak as well. One other thing, that I would have loved you to touch on this. You see, the insecurity in Kwara State, not only in Kwara State, every part of the state. There's something you said I really liked. In this, we live in this country. Some non-state actors will tell people not to come out on a certain day, and it becomes a norm. We live with it for over how many years right now? Okay, now some places in those areas, some state actors have taken over. Nothing is being done to stop these things, right? I think it was in Katsina State that we saw those terrorists. Please, nobody on this platform should use the word bandits. Please, I do not believe that these guys are bandits. The only person you can make reference and call them make reference that the person is a bandit is Robin Hood, right? Okay, but these ones we have in Nigeria, they are not bandits. These are criminals. These are terrorists. They are having meetings with the leaders of the community, and you see the way they were trooping in. I mean, you think we have this is Nigeria. This is a country. You're not watching movies. And they took their mic. They actually gave them the mic to speak, to tell them what it will cost for them not to, kidnap them anymore. And then after they finished, they took their bike. Where were they going? Where is it say? Kai. And if somebody says Nigeria is a failed state, people will come up from their hiding place and say, "Why you're demarcating Nigeria? What are you talking about? What other what other way have you demarcated your country by allowing criminals to come out and tell you what they will do, and they will go, and then you clap for them, you give them mic, and you sat down with them? What other way have you demarcated your country that you saw people as of yesterday in the bush being killed, and the governor, the president didn't feel that those lives in Kwara worth anything? He decided the best thing to do is just to honor Hope Uzodinma in Imo State. Right? The governor of Kwara State should be somewhere in Aso Rock right now, if we have a same country. Nyesom Wike should be somewhere in Aso Rock right now, and the questions will be, what are you doing about the security in FCT? The governor of Kwara State will be asked questions. The governor of Imo State. I mean, I hope that the president will have opportunity to ask the governor of Imo State what is going on in some of these communities. That's what happened in the same country. 24 hours or 48 hours max. 1 week, we'll forget about this whole thing and we'll move on and we'll wait for the next thing and we'll come back and we'll talk about it and we'll move on and we'll continue. And the media is one of the biggest problems we have. Tomorrow, just count today, between now and the next 1 month, you will see them go and shine teeth within years and weeks. I do not have a problem if they want to interview him and everything, but ask him serious questions. What are you doing with the security in the FCT? They will go there and open their mouth and the rest of them. Who is going to get the PDP ticket? Are you still in PDP or APC? Are you contesting for elections where people are losing their lives? This is what the Nigerian media is doing. Kudos to every one of you who spend your hard-earned money to continue to tweet. You guys are the real MVPs. Ola, if you want to respond to that quickly, then I can pass the mic to some other person. Thank you.
Yes, mindset. You actually said, a lot of it, because now you've got somebody who's called the commander in chief. The whole security apparatus of the nation rests with him. You have governors who are chief security officers in name, not in power. Now, and like you said, you've got these terrorists coming out openly with their RPGs and bikes and having peace meetings. We've always wondered, how do these guys in the bushes, how do they get their ransoms to them? And we say we have a security network that should be able to trace these things. We have the idiots that were doing sit at home. You've got that one in Kwara, and then you have, like I said, it should be a case like, and ironically, our Independence Day is tomorrow, and then you look at it. Why, if you can't secure the life of your people, and how long have we been going on with this, especially in that Middle Belt area? If it's not Plateau today, it's Benue tomorrow, it's Kwara, it's, and then, like you said, because the press, imagine if we didn't have individual Twitter accounts or Twitter, and people were having to rely on NTA and TVC and Arise and channels. It's you think in 2025, a nation that is about to say it's 65, crawling around like a child in darkness, in its, in a nappy that is soiled. I know they say yes, people shouldn't, oh, you guys shouldn't be demarketing Nigeria. No, this is not about demarketing Nigeria. This is about calling it as it is. Nigeria keeps on demarketing itself. Its leaders keep on demarketing itself. From those governors to the president, to the national security advisor, to the chief of defense staff. These are the guys that, how can you be sleeping in your bed knowing that Nigeria doesn't have to be on fire with all these things we hear. I saw a case where they were talking about a blasphemy case, and some were saying like, oh, even if the Supreme Court goes against them, they would do what they want to do. Is that a country? Well, like Chinua Achebe's book said, once we had a nation. I don't know. I know it's one isn't meant to sound so bleak, but at times when you look at the outlook of Nigeria, the outlook looks bleak, and it's like a sick patient that you're just waiting to kick the bucket. Let me stop there. Give other people a chance to speak.
Thank you very much, Paula. Some individuals, some persons are saying that they're not able to hear us. Am I still audible? I just saw your comment
I
that.
can hear you.
Okay, so Roy, can you hear me? Mr. Olayinka Bakare say I can't hear anything. Please, is he on my side? Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you now.
Can hear
I
you,
couldn't
my
hear
dear.
All right.
anyone. I had to
Yeah,
log
yeah,
off and
yeah,
come
yeah.
back in.
Can hear you.
All right. Thank you. So, somebody just sent me a message. I said, Daily Trust have ended the space and they deleted the space. No, they shouldn't delete it now. They should they should continue to talk about football. So, Daily Trust have deleted the space. They were hosting about football. I mean, maybe I don't know if because we talked about it, they ended the space. Good luck to them, but that's very, very shameful, right? I don't have the power to tell people what to do on their platform, but for a national newspaper to see what's going on in Kwara State and what's happening in FCT and what happened in Katsina State and every other thing, the most important thing for them right now is to open a space to talk about if Nigeria will qualify. For me, that is very, very I'm not sure. I'm in a very I'm trying to be very mindful, so I do not want to say something. And when someone said, I would say, please, be very mindful. But I wish we're having hard talk now, so you guys would have allowed me to speak freely. But thank you guys for allowing me to express myself. I do. I it means a lot to me. Wake up, Africa! You have the mic. Good morning. Sorry. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, my brother. Mindset. Thank you very much for hosting this space. Just like you, regards to everyone, my regards to those who have spoken before and everyone that is in here listening. Just like you, to be honest with you, I came back from work this morning and I had that news and I went in and I saw the lady. I was broken down. You see, one of the issues that we have with Nigeria sometimes is the fact that despite all that is going on, despite everything that we see happening in this country, you still find people who deem it right that in the face of what we are going through as a country, theirs is to find a way to defend the calamity that is happening just because it is not happening to them at that point in time. For me, that is, I find it very difficult to digest. You see, the saying that may Nigeria not happen to you, sometimes we take it lightly. But Nigeria keeps happening to friends and families and, even foes. How much more can we take as a country? You see, I am somebody who is very strong minded. For those who are listening to me, this morning, as I was writing my tribute for this young lady on Arise YouTube, somehow, something that never happened to me, even when I lost my father, tears started running down my eyes. And I'm thinking, why? I don't know this lady. I don't know her. But you see, that deep thought that this country we call our own continues to fail us from all ramifications of life. What is the worth of the life of a Nigerian? What do you gain for being a Nigerian that will cause you to stand up and defend your country? Like you said, mindset. You provide your own electricity. You provide your own water. You pay your own school fees. If you're driving on the road and anything happens to you, mindset, you are on your own. What is the purpose of government? Those who call themselves the commander in chief of heaven armed forces and the host of it. And these guys are so comfortable in the midst of every calamity that has befallen the country. They still find a way to open their mouth and say, we are doing well. We are going to be voted in. We are going to clear everywhere. A young lady, for the love of her country, left her safety in United Kingdom, a country that has offered her so much. But for the love of country, she decided to go to Nigeria and contribute her little quota. And look at how she has ended. And the worst of it all is that the security officer, according to Arise TV, said he called on the police when this was going on. Nobody showed up until after the whole thing has happened. Then they will come and start asking what happened, what happened. And I'm going to cite you my own example. You see, before 2015, you see, I'm an Easterner. I love traveling by road. You see that? I love traveling from Lagos to the east. You come down to Ijebu, or they on your way, you stop, you buy things, you get down to that place where you go to eat. For me, that gives me buzz. I feel, that feeling of traveling along that forest all the way to the east. I enjoy it so much. All of a sudden, after 2015, APC took over and we lost all those ability to safely, I must add that, to safely do road trip in Nigeria. And the same people, every day, every morning and night, they still have the audacity to tell us how well they are doing, despite all that is happening. In the same Abuja that this young lady lost her life, let me remind us that there was a time the so-called bandits, but I know they are terrorists, went to, is it not Kuje prison, to release their brothers. For hours, there was shooting and the whole thing that was going on in Kuje prison. And they released their fellow terrorists in the capital, epicenter of Nigerian seat of power. Terrorists came. The military were nowhere to be found. The police were nowhere to be found. The Air Force, the Navy were nowhere to be found for hours. And terrorists released terrorists from Nigeria Federal Prison. Nothing happened. Till today, nothing happened. I unsubscribed to Arise TV because of what Mindset said. You know what? When continuously these guys would say farmer headers clash, terrorists will come into Benue State, kill people, destroy their livelihood, and Channel TV continue to maintain farmer headers clash, more specifically, Eshenwo Kimbaloye. And I said to myself, how can Nigerians be so heartless that I don't know? I don't want to believe that they are giving money to do so. Not to say, I don't want, it's no matter how much money you're given, what about your conscience? They will continue to say farmer header. How can farmer header clash turn to headers killing farmers? You are in your house and somebody comes in, kills you or kill your family, destroy your livelihood, and we say farmer header clash. I have to say this, my brothers and sisters. See, the issue of Nigeria, sometimes I ask myself, my friend, why can you not just forget about everything about Nigeria? Why do you even bother? Nigeria as an individual has not offered me anything, nothing. In fact, the arrival of APC into as the leadership of Nigeria has caused many diasporans, made a lot of people poorer. Why? Because now you have more families wanting you to help them. I told my younger one, my auntie died and left two daughters who I'm taking care of. I said, go and apply for the student loan that they say they're offering. She applied, they rejected her. And I asked them, federal government said that they are sharing money to people who, I don't know what the criteria are, by which they send money to individuals into their bank accounts. These girls, if I do not send them food money, they won't have anything to eat. So I then ask, what is the criteria for sending this money? Billions and billions they keep talking about. Because every time you talk, the individual will come and tell you, oh, what about this scheme? What about that scheme? Nothing is happening. So we Nigerians are our own problems. And I'm of the view that the day Nigerians decide and say, you know what, we've had enough, we're gonna change this country, I can guarantee you, I beat my hand on my chest, within 24 hours, Nigerians stand up and say, enough, these guys will run away from that country. But because of ethnic bigotry, because of ethnic affiliation, oh, it's our own people, it's the thief, yes, it's a thief, but it's our own thief. He must finish until 2058. You people, you would never smell that place. It is our own people that they, oh, he's a thief here, but you also have thief. As long as we continue in this path, Nigerians will continue to pay senseless prices like this young lady has paid. This is hurting me so much as if I know the lady. I don't know her from Adam. I've never, in fact, to be honest with you, among the people who report in Arise TV, I can't remember seeing, maybe I have, but I can't remember seeing her. I know Ayo, OG, and our favorite Niger wife, Rufai, and then a few other people. This lady, I don't know, but the incident so much touched somewhere in my heart that I feel pain to the extent that I shed tears just by trying to comment on it. So, dear Nigerians, I plead with us to continue, Nigerians of well-meaning Nigerians, to continue to say that Nigeria has to be right. But we cannot have a country where the country offers you nothing. No security, no electricity, no good education, no health care, zero good transport. And let me end with this. Like I said earlier, I'm an Easterner. My brother Dave Umahi will go on social media and say all manner of things. But I know that as Christmas is approaching, everybody would agree that Easterners that live in every part of the country want to travel home during Christmas time. Dave Umahi, as an Easterner, transport minister or whatever, the road from Benin to Southeast to Niger Bridge is completely gone. Asaba bypass or Bini bypass, all those places, for information I have, are not passable areas. And my brother goes on social media to say, no, this is not promoting anything. I'm just trying to follow my line of thought. No obedience in my state. Tinubu will win hands down and everything. He has done so much for you. But by God, this man, your people are going to be traveling home. Those roads there, if they are not fixed, your people would either spend days there, God forbid anyone loses their life there. And this is the type of country we have. So when are we going to stand up and say enough is enough? Even if
All right.
mindset. And
Okay.
everybody who's listening, I just thank you so much for listening. This is me just ranting. In fact, I lost my line of thought, but I've been so pained for this. So thank you very much for the opportunity, and God bless us all.
Thank you very much. Wake up, Nigeria. You have every right to feel the way you feel if it's going to make you feel better. You know, myself, I didn't want to host spaces. I don't normally host spaces in the afternoon, but today have not been productive work-wise. Just, apart from being alive, seeing my family, and it's been one of those days that it's a bit cloudy, right? And just listening to you and listening to other speakers, I believe will make life a little bit easier for us. But the truth have to be said, no matter whose us is God, sometimes we are shying away from this thing, but it is what it is. The moment we start telling ourselves the truth, the better for us. I saw something here, please. I cannot confirm this, but I think it's from Sahara Reporters. Cartoon Gossip just put up something here, and I do believe Miss Stella put this something. Okay, it's from Sahara Reporter. It says the emir of, I can't pronounce it, Saragi. Please, somebody, I think that's the name, but let's say for the sake of this conversation, of that arrest of the leader of youth protesting against rising killings rising killings, banditry in Kwara State. So this is it's a news from Sahara Reporters. As I've always said, I cannot confirm this thing, but if this is what it is, that means we are not going to make it in this country. Because when people are saying people are being killed here, and if this is the truth, right, from what Sahara Reporters have said, that means we have a problem. We have a problem. Every one of us, those of you who are able to see that video, can go back and what if you can say, people have just been slaughtered in Kwara State. People are slaughtered, and people are saying we are being killed. Our people are being killed. Nigerians are being killed, and now if we are to go with what our reporters are reported, now somebody is saying the person's telling Nigerians to come out to see what's going on in the state should be arrested. How does that make sense? How? Instead of finding solution to stop the insecurity in Kwara State. And now we are thinking, if this is the truth, please, I like to be very mindful, right? Now somebody's saying somebody should go and arrest the person that said people are being killed in Kwara State. Only if the person that put out the news is lying. Maybe the video we saw is not from Kwara State. Then I'm not here to encourage anybody to just fly any kite and, put any propaganda. But if those videos are truly from Kwara State and we saw those people lying down there, right? Killed by terrorists. I don't believe in banditry. There's absolutely no bandits in Nigeria. Maybe you have few of them, but those individuals, both in the southeast, in the southwest, in the north central, where have you? These are all terrorists. So if you cannot call them terrorists, you're part of the problem, right? If you cannot call them what their name's supposed to be, you are part of the problem. There is terrorism going on in every part of Nigeria. Now somebody is saying we have to stop this, and if what Sahara Reporter reported right now is the truth, we have a problem, guys. We're not going to make it to. Believe you me, we might not. Let me not say we're not going. We might not make it. As a country, we might not make it. We might not make it if this is the way we want to look at it. Okay, but this is my thought anyway. Somebody says they are requesting for the mic. Mr. Engineer OG. If you're still on the platform, do indicate. Let's see who would like to help us to co-host. We have turned it into a space right now, so we'll need a co-host to help us bring some of the speakers up. Is there anybody that would like to help us to co-host? Please do indicate by raising your hand, and we'll pass the mic to you to help us. As we're waiting for a co-host, let me pass the mic to Joe. Joe, good morning. Gosh, Joe, good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm fine on my side. Good evening from this side. Good evening to everyone. I'll just be listening, and one can hardly, stick to a particular point because there's a lot to say. Because a lot has happened to point down to this point. I can only try and put it together and see the two we can see. I'll be seeing the news. I'll be trying as much as possible to be avoiding the news. Reading it in detail because I just be seeing the headline, reading the pieces, and just moving on because you can't calm down and read through and not break down. Like Wake Up Africa just said, Isheti, as he was trying to put the comment, you wouldn't see it and not feel bad. Because Nigeria has become like a depressant to Nigerians. You just wake up every day, you feel depressed by just reasoning through Nigerian situation and everything. Avoidable ones for that matter. Right. So when government normally as it should be, government is like purposely for the security of lives and property of the people, right? But as we currently have in Nigeria, government seems to be the source of insecurity for the people, right? If more than half or up to half of security apparatus and other agencies of security in Nigeria is dedicated to protecting the politicians and those in power, so invariably you're now having that be a source of insecurity to the people. On the other hand, right? So if you dedicate more than half of what you should use to protect the people, being dedicated to protecting those who in power and the higher mighty in the society, so it becomes a source of insecurity to the people, right? So we have normal insecurity as we should have normally in Nigeria. They will have insecurity in finance as well, being caused by these same people in power. So we have all this. How does that encourage anyone, right, to continue to live? And even encourage those who are brought to come. Look at this young girl, very young girl, who was living her life, good life in good climes. She was there living well, but for the love of her country, she chose to come to her country and stay. Look at how she ended. So how does that encourage any other one, any other person who are out there, we thinking to come? If they even have the mind of coming before, how would they now be encouraged to finally make that move and coming down to their country to stay by this thing that happened? How does that encourage? If by magic, let's just ask, okay, would you want to come to Nigeria just by chance now to ask? Let's just imagine what her answer would be. Would you want to come to your country? The answer, of course, would be no. She wouldn't want to even come anymore, knowing that my life will be cut short once I come here. How does that encourage those who are looking for foreign investors, wherever they lost it? But how does that encourage them to come to the country when life is not safe? Nigeria government does not value life, human life. If they do, you wouldn't have been having this from even their responses to questions. You'll be thinking that these people don't have any value to human life. From Dave, the way I was asking questions, even during the coastal highway they were building, issues are the abundance of human life and can affect human life later. For those who will be using the road and for those who are close by the area, be asking questions by that lady from the Arise. The way he was responding to those questions and how she had demeaning the lady, you would think that these people, we are not your slave. You are supposed to be serving us. But from the way they respond to the question, you know that these people don't have any value for human life. If not, you'll be having this kind of calamity in the country. They chose to go and commission whatever they want to commission in Imo State or whatever. If they had serious, concern for human life, you'll be having them having photo ops with terrorists carrying arms in the name of peace talk. So how do you talk peace with a set of people that have killed many people? Then in the bushes they come out to, okay, let's have peace. Then you come out and what's is peace not supposed to be signified by maybe white flag and all that, but you came with weapon, different grades, and you are talking peace. We are it's just comedy. You're talking. So how do you now have small children around that place also watching them? So how do you now encourage them? What do you encourage them to do? To toe the line of peace or to also do this? If they can be famous, they're now famous. And financially they are buoyant. So you are now encouraging the young ones to do the way to do the way this one just did to get fame and money. So that's what I encourage. Government does not really have that human sympathy, do not have human life, do not have concern for human life. So that's what we are having, or what we are having. Then we have people who are still supporting this. It's even more crazy for me. If you see, that's why you see sometimes my comment I'm always angry because I don't take it very lightly, in my comments, because it's sickening to see how some people who are still supporting these people. They will have somebody who calls himself foundational whatever saying that Nigerians are the one killing and maiming themselves. What do you want the government to do? As some people tweeted that, human beings tweeted that. I saw that tweet. Foundational you pay lawyer, whatever his name is. That's what he tweeted. That Nigerians are killing themselves and maiming themselves, and we are blaming government. What do you want the government to do? That was what human being tweeted on his page. Right? That we have people like that who are still, on the side of this government, still speaking. You say, why are you even in government in the first place? You want to at least make things better. If you can't make this better, why did you even bother to smuggle yourself into position? If you cannot be criticized, why do you know it all? If you knew it all and you got so why are you now not delivering it? Then so why is it now difficult to encourage decent voices? Why is it difficult to have at least those things? Just protest is not all evil now, for God's sake. So if you can now allow that protest, so if it's okay, this I was doing wrong. Okay, this protest has pointing it out. Let me just listen to it. But no, you cannot even speak up against it. They would rather be picking people up because they are writing pieces against a particular governor or minister, picking journalists up. Then you now have people. We are in a country where we cannot have elders that can come put together and say enough is enough. We are in a country where where the youths are easily distracted by inanities. Who is marrying somebody, who is having.
Have we lost? It appears we've lost you. Sorry, it appears we've lost you, right? Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think he just maybe his connection dropped out.
Sorry, guys. This is very unprofessional, but I'm trying to reorganize things here, so do bear with me. Okay, so let's hope that Mr. Joe will rejoin us again. I can see we have 2 requests. I do not know what happened, but he was, when he was making his submission, he spoke about the journalist in Arise. No, I think I can't remember. Let me not misquote him, but he said something akin to, it appears that the journalists are not doing what they're supposed to do. You see, in 1992, I think, and Prof wrote an article about this. The same Bayo Ononuga that the one that worked with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he wrote an article in the Concord then, that was December 1992, and he was challenging the judiciary then. This whole thing that myself and you and every one of us are doing now, people are saying, oh, you're not being fair to the judiciary. 1992 December, that was when we have a military ruler then, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. Bayo Ononuga wrote an article against the CJ, one of the judges then. I think it was the CJN then, right? But let me say one of the judges. I don't want to misquote anybody. Saying these guys, something like that they are corrupt. You can go and verify these things, right? Those are those years that you see journalists who are very bold to speak, that ask politicians serious questions. You know why politicians were scared of journalists then? Because they knew that these guys will go out there and put out things. You don't want it to be in their bad books. So when they ask you a question, you're just going to respect them. Journalists command a lot of respect, right? We know what happened to the late Delegiwa, because he was one of those journalists who was ready to go so deep to be able to tell Nigerians what is actually going on. That was the time of the military. What you have right now in the Nigerian, those journalists, I say those, some of them, let me say some of them, they will take their bag, pack some of them, they will actually give them jollof rice, put cow food, put everything, and so that will be their takeaway, because they're coming to interview somebody. They are so scared to ask questions. You see them laughing. This is the thing. And how is it that the politicians will respect you? They will not respect you, because they know they will call you and say, take. The other day, somebody, I think it was in Yes Weekend, was on Channel TV, right? Somebody correct me, talking about lands. The other day, somebody, I think it was one senator, was asking a journalist about the watch. I know about this watch and everything. The way, the familiarity there tells you something is not right somewhere. So the problem we have in Nigeria, yes, the governor, those leading us, the governors and the what have you, have let themselves down. But another problem that we have is the people in the media, right? I know you have to pay them, some of them collect money, but the moment they start asking serious questions, maybe people will sit up, right? Questions need to be asked. What is going on with the security in FCT? Why is it that these criminals, I don't know how many they are, they came in and there was no policeman to help? From what we're hearing, calls we are put out there was no policeman in FCT. Somebody needs to respond to these things. Why is it that people are being killed in Kwara State? There is no security in Kwara State. The governor of Kwara State, as the chief security officer, if you cannot handle it, you need to be somewhere in Aso Rock. Speak to the president and say, I need help. Journalists they are not going to ask this question. Believe you me, in the next 1 week, everybody will move on. And they will call for media chats. And they will carry their bag and they will give them takeaway when they finish eating. And they give them brown envelope and they will ask questions, who will get the PDP ticket? These are the kind of useless questions that the Nigerian journalists ask politicians. The way manner they do all this nonsense that they do. You see somebody ask them serious question. You will not ask those questions.
Mindset, I don't know if it's right to talk. I just wanted to say, in defense of Arise TV, people like Yeso Wike avoids Arise TV. Just to chip that in, to say there is one or two things like that happen. So they try to avoid because of Rufai. Sorry for butting. I just wanted to say that out of my mind.
Yeah, I'm not. I didn't single out any media house. I'm just saying the Nigerian journalists. So if somebody is scared of going there, there are journalists. There will, some of their persons will be invited, and they will go there and ask, and listen. There, Wike is not the only one that avoid Arise TV, and my assertion is not only about Arise TV. I'm talking about the Nigerian journalists in general. They are so scared to ask questions. The journalists, they are not, they cannot even call terrorists who the terrorists are. They're calling them bandits. And, you see, that is the problem we have. That's the problem. If we don't want to be honest to ourselves, we will continue. Bayo or Nanoga, the one that works with the president right now, challenge Babangida then. They challenge this, hi. Anyway, let's, Ola, you have the mic, please.
You see, mindset. When you talk about the press, now, the press is just a subset of the Nigerian entity. The same way you have the press, you have the judiciary. Now, this is what happens when the powers to be or the powers that are in weaponize poverty and do an overreach of their powers. Everybody else would now think, okay, do we come to the side of these people or do we face the brunt of them? You gave two examples of, or two contrasts. Um, Delegiwa of Newswatch with, remember the days of Delegiwa, Ray Ekbu, and even the guys in the Guardian with the Hebrews back then. And then you made a mention of Bayo Nanuga. Now, what we see with the likes of Bayo Nanuga is something that Nietzsche, the philosopher, said that at times when you stare into the abyss, be careful. That because when it stares back at you, you see yourself. It's interesting that these same people who once stood against tyranny and said they were standing up for democracy have become the most anti-democratic set of people that we've seen in Nigeria. We look at look at what happened in Rivers State with the suspension of a governor, a sitting governor. There is nowhere in the constitution that says the president has the powers to do what he did. The National Assembly did what they had to do, even with their. We know they didn't have the numbers, but they came and it went through. We saw what happened with Senator Natasha. So when you look at all of these things, you might think they're in isolation or in different cases, but when you put it together, that is why you have, you see, the media. Why are people going to do sit down talks with Wiki like a monthly thing? For what? And like you said, when they get there, they start talking rubbish. I'm sure if somebody asks him real pertinent questions that he doesn't like, he probably will think, no, I'm not going to do this again. But when they keep on, you see, that's the word. There's too much pandering in Nigeria to power. You have a minister building houses for judges. Why wouldn't the judges think, okay, let's this guy is like a benefactor, so let's find a technicality to support him. And that's the same thing with the press. I know that yes, people will say, well, he might not be the best case of a journalist, but we saw the fallout between Dele Momodu and Nyeso Wike and using his special assistant, Larry, to say all sorts of things. That's the thing, because they're too cozy. It was like, oh, when he was governor, he came, I invited him to come and showcase the things I did as governor. I fed him, I did this, I did that. That's why as they say, familiarity breeds contempt. The Nigerian model, whether it be in the press, being the judiciary, being even down to the people, they are too chum with the powers to be. When other people were talking, I remembered one of your spaces that we had ages ago that Henry Shield was talking about how Abuja is turning into what it is now. And, we've seen this. And it's not just this case. There was a case where a woman was thrown out of a one chance cab that died. There's been other kidnappings in Abuja and all sorts in the seat of power. And also, we remember a few months ago that one of these terrorist groups set up somewhere around Suleja, which is just a stone throw from the Federal Capital Territory. One of the other speakers mentioned the Kuje prison episode. Now, just using that prison one, I remember when there was a prison break some in one state in America not too long ago. Every day on Twitter, we were seeing the faces of those guys who escaped, and the efforts that have been doing. And as each one is being caught, they're putting a neck saying captured and everything. I know, yes, one of them is still not found, but it just shows you that okay, they're making efforts. We saw it it's not just a few weeks ago. I think I saw it last week. A Nigerian guy who was declared wanted by in America 20 years ago. They put a computer generated picture of this. That look, this guy is still wanted and everything. You know, you could, yes, things happen wherever they happen, but they still show an effort. What we have in Nigeria is a laxity, and like I said, like you said, the press and everybody are all chummy chummy. You see them at book launches and everything, all shining teeth and hanging out and laughing and joking. Whereas, one of the things that I wouldn't say it's unforgivable because I don't want to sound that way. But I remember hearing and watching Kyle Fayemi say, "Oh, we politicized the 2012 um, fuel subsidy thing. We knew it was the right thing to do, but we just needed to create chaos and politicize it and made it life difficult for Jonathan." We've seen Rotimi Amici from time to time say, "Well, Nigerians are meek. Nigerians are foolish. Nigerians are, the elected ones know that they will never do anything, so that's why they keep on taking them for granted." And we see it time and time happen again. That's the problem that we have. Is it that people have been so browbeaten and broken that they're just so subservient and just take anything? Because, like you said, mindset, give it another 2 weeks, this case will be pushed to the back burners, and people will go on about, yeah, who's one big brother, who's dating who, whose son is marrying whose daughter, you know, and Nigerians will just carry on, get on with life. Nobody's going to help Nigerians. Nigerians will have to decide what they want and how they want it before Nigeria happens to them. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Ola. Please, if you do have any other person who would like to be part of the conversation, do request for the mic. We will do our best to bring you up. And if you're requesting for the mic, do indicate on the comment section so we will know how to figure things out to bring you up to be part of the conversation. I just call it Which Way Nigeria. That's what the space is all about. Which way? Where are we going from here? What do you guys think can be done to at least give us something, right? Let's feel like we are the little time or the time we have to spend on this planet, and we look back and we say, okay, we enjoy something, right? The way it is, no place is safe. No, there's no part of this country that is safe. Somebody might convince you that staying in so and so place, you can see it for yourself, right? If you're not talking about flooding, you're talking about kidnapping. If you're not talking about kidnapping, there is always something. There is something out there. And the problem I have with it is that those affected sometimes don't even focus on what really matters to them. What do I mean by that? Sometimes we continue to argue about some silly things, right, that would not help us. Somebody just put out something here. Let me quickly read it out, if that would help. Watch say, do you guys know that the Kwara State governor is in Imo State with Tinubu for the Don Reader is going on there today? Wise communities are being sacked by terrorists in his state. The fact is, these APC guys from Tinubu to the list of them do not care. That's the problem. There is nobody in anybody that cares about his people, right? That will leave them and say, okay, I'm going to commission. Commission what? What are we commissioning, for crying out loud? A part of your state, or your state, let me just say, your state have been wiped out by criminals, right? Is it the best time for you to go and commission something because everybody's trying to seek favor? If the people on Twitter or those news, media are choose not to amplify what's going on in Kwara State, some of us might not even know what's going on in Kwara State. So kudos to every one of you who amplified it. But the governor of the same state, as it stands right now, from what the guy put on the comment section, it's not even in the state. It's in Imo State. That is the problem of Nigeria. That is the biggest problem we face. We have people who don't care. And somebody will say, oh, it doesn't matter. Why are we even talking about it? Let the people in Kwara State, didn't they vote for Bola Tinubu? See, this is the mindset that I don't like. And I'm not going to get involved in it because those in Kwara State voted. voted for Bola Tinubu. Not everybody in Kwara State. There might be one person who did not vote for Bola Tinubu. Okay, let's just assume that they all voted for Bola Tinubu. Some of them have learned their lesson. Some of them have thought about it. But, you know, it's so because they voted for Bola Tinubu, they supported somebody, is that a reason for criminals to come to their community and slaughter them like they are nothing? And we're just going to fold our hands and say, no, we are not going to amplify because these people are, you know, it doesn't matter. It's an APC problem. It's not an APC problem. It's a Nigerian problem. There is a possibility that some of us, if not myself, I'm married anyway, so maybe my cousins or something might find somebody they like in Kwara State and marry somebody in Kwara State. For some reason, they become my in-law. So I have reason to speak about it, even if they, you know, I might have a friend. So when it's happening some places that, you know, you think you're not connected, somehow you're connected as long as you're part of this country. As long as you're part of this country, whether you're in the country or not, right? And I hope that the media would, you know, start speaking out more. And if people tell you guys you don't have power, if anybody tell you that your sweet Twitter account doesn't matter, you guys have done something this evening. And I will tell you what you guys did, not myself that did it. Someone just said to me, I'm not sure, but I just wanted to read it out, that one of the reasons Daily News or Daily Trust ended this thing, they ended their stupid spaces because we are talking about it on this platform, right? So kudos to every one of you. Because there was absolutely no need for that stupid space. It's a stupid space where somebody in the media lost their life. You should be amplifying about insecurity. You open a useless space to talk about Nigeria will qualify, when Nigeria qualify. So somebody is just saying to me that is the reason they had about it and they ended that space. So kudos to you guys. You have achieved something. We have achieved, you know, let's just hold on to that we didn't waste our time on this platform this afternoon. So if there's any other thing anybody want to add, please do request for the mic and I would bring you up. If you're requesting for the mic, put it on the comment section, please. Nigeria residents say when we admit that we do not actually have a government in Nigeria, everything begins to make sense. View our problem through any different lens is a dangerous delusion. I mean, you can say we don't have a government, but then again, we have governors, we have president, we have ministers. So there is actually a government in Nigeria. I think one would then look at it and say the government we have is not working, they're not doing anything for us. So in terms of having government, there are those who are in seat of power. So we cannot say we don't have government. We have government, but then we can look at it that these guys are not doing what they're supposed to do. But before I pass the mic to take it, let me quickly read out what XY said. What a beautiful name, XY. He should have put Z there. Now we know it's XYZ. So he said, mindset, how can you say they don't ask hard question or whatever when they have Peter Obi to talk about? I mean, if they want to talk about Peter Obi, good luck to them. But I think they should speak out more. Take care. You have the mic. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, mindset. Good evening, everybody on this space. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Please, there's this guy. Please take it. I do apologize. Please hold your thought for 1 minute. I do apologize, sir. There's this person on the comment section. He's saying I'm requesting. His name is Engineer OJ, and we have Nigerian Renaissance, and then I have Prince. You know, please, somebody needs to help to become a co-host, please, if that's okay, so we can give them an opportunity to speak. If anybody would like to, that would be fine. Okay, go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, concerning the subject of discussion, about this future star that was diminished in such a poor, despicable manner, that, you know, frankly, she shouldn't have been in that position in the first place, in the sense that we are people living in Nigeria right now. We all believed at some point we are in the middle class or upper middle class, and so therefore some of these things will not touch us, even though we have paid money, deployed our resources to protect ourselves from some of these things, the armed robbers, the kidnappers. At first we started with armed robbers and police all over this road, collecting bribes instead of doing their work to prevent armed robbers from attacking you on the streets. Kidnappers come. We found out that our armed forces, people in charge of security, is not. They are not available to do the work that needs to be done. So the airline industry started thriving. Everybody was flying. Not everybody was flying. The middle class and upper middle class and the elites were flying. Now it's mostly going to be a little bit more of the elites that are flying because the middle class can't even afford this flight. Just upper middle class and elites. Now they said, okay, let's do something for the people. Let's put the train. The current former minister of transportation was almost killed when he was using on routes to a train station, Rotimi Amechi, when his bodyguard was one of his. There's a casualty from that very incident. Somebody spoke about somebody who was killed on the train when kidnappers, not when terrorists attacked the train. She was shot. Medical doctor. Multiple incidents. The cows, the raining our trains. And so people don't really rely too much on the trains. So it's either you're flying, you're providing personal security to travel, or you have multiple armed men at your gate preventing something like this that should have been preventable from happening to you. It, it just shows something, and I'm thinking in my head, and I'm wondering in my head, and I'm culpable also. I will not exclude myself from this. Don't you think the cause of this problem is that our middle class, our elites, are allowing these things to happen? Don't you think? Because our elites do not patronize our media houses. And the only way these media houses have confidence to fund their operations is to kowtow to the government agencies, because right now that's the only solid, consistent revenue for them. Because after all of the infrastructure put in place by media houses needs to be paid for. And we have not found a comfortable way to fund some of these media operations where they can do away without government patronage. Same thing with the banks. Don't you think that the people that are supposed to fund all of these structures that allow certain agencies or people or structures to put government in check, we have surrendered financing some of these things and found a way to just turn the blind eye and find a way to make sure that our own individual needs are met with our own resources? That galvanizing resource destination to put things or put people or agencies in check almost does not exist in Nigeria. You were talking about Bayo Onanuga and what they did with military. Then the middle class at that time could give voice and could resist and to speak out. That's why Bayo, to some extent, could do what he did during the military times. Now, you, I don't know. It's almost as if the middle class does not. I don't hear them. I don't see them. I don't. The only thing I see them do is cowtailing to the government in power. The government in power targets the middle class person and goes after them, and nothing happens. They do it to one, they do it to another one, they do it to another one, they do it to three, they do it to four, they do it to five. Nothing. Nobody's in arms. Nobody's consolidating that we cannot allow this particular incident to happen. You're demolishing people's houses in Lagos. Yes, it is good to you demolish people's houses in Lagos, but the middle class that is affected. This is because those houses are not people, not houses are not properties of poor people. Nobody can tell me that those are properties of poor people that are being demolished. It's the middle class. You should have seen by now the middle class rallying and saying that we want to see Lagos state government agencies held responsible for allowing these properties to go up in the first place. Good, demolish it. But after you demolish it, these are the things that we must see happen, because this did not happen in a vacuum. I'm just saying that maybe I'm not, saying the government is not responsible. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Everything everybody has said here, I support 100%, 1,000% as a matter of fact. But I'm just saying, because mindset, you have come many times and said you always like to come up and walk away from your spaces with possible solutions that can be explored. I'm just saying maybe we should start thinking and preaching to ourselves, because most of us here on this platform are part of the problem, because we are more on the middle class side and the elite side than more on the poverty or the poor side. Because those guys are going to look at you and like, hey, you've been preaching to us that we shouldn't involve ourselves in politics, because at the end of the day, we suffer the brunt of everything. We suffer the food. You guys, you build fences, you hire security, you hire a driver, you hire your jeeps, you're not in the flood like us. So everybody will be on your own. And now, guess what? It's touching, it's touching us gradually. It's been touching us one by one for many years, and we've been silent. It's spreading. I'm just saying maybe we should be looking in the mirror. Maybe, just maybe. That's what I wanted to share. And I support everything everybody has said so far. Thank you.
Thank you very much, TK. A pleasure having you back on the platform. Now, let me quickly react to some of the things you said. Yes, there's the middle class there. The problem with the insecurity in Nigeria right now, it doesn't matter whether you're middle class or you're lower class, you're upper class, or your class, or it doesn't really matter at this point. So if anyone who cares, who's serious about their safety, start looking at this from the point that I'm a middle class and all these things, the person is in the wrong place. It's making a very big mistake, because as it stands right now, I do not even want to believe that we have a middle class in Nigeria. But then again, let me quickly respond to one of the things. You see, the whole idea, I mean, people demolishing houses and everything. If you remember, I've spoken about it before. But the idea, I don't want us to, I don't want to dwell much on that. But because you mentioned, I want to react to it. The idea that somebody would decide, or people would decide, whether they pay bribe or they know that these things were not the right thing to do, to start building houses on the canal, that is absolutely wrong. So if you decide to give somebody bribe, I don't want to, that's not a topic, but I just wanted to react to that, right? If you decide to give somebody bribe and they give you C of O or whatever it's called, and you decided to build a house where you're not supposed to build it, and the government decided that this is wrong and they demolish it, you're on your own. That's your own business. You knew that you shouldn't be building there, right? If we want to build a country, let's do what is right. Sometimes it's difficult, but we must be able to tell ourselves the truth, right? But I do get the point that those who sold the land and those who were, I'm trying not to get into it, but it's very important for me to react to that as well. So let's not, on one hand, we want something to be done the right way. On the other hand, then we would condone evil because, it would appear that the government in power, is doing something that we might not be comfortable with, right? Take you raise your hand, so go ahead quickly, sir.
I completely agree with your rebuttal on that, and we're in alignment with that. All I'm saying is that the second leg of that action, which is middle class holding authorities to the bare minimum, does not exist in Nigeria. The demolition of houses is just an example of middle class not holding government accountable for systematic, because in this situation, it will be a systematic thing. Well, the same thing with all the whole police on the road, and even the welfare of the police barracks. You know, middle class, they have to be involved in all of these things. They have to be the ones making the noise. They have to be the ones with civil disability, because they are the ones that can afford to do it. Not just because they can afford to do it, because at the end of the day, guess what? It will touch you somehow, some way. Just like now, you do not wait for the others that are supposedly, or in lack of better terms, beneath you in resource acquisition, carry that load. It needs to be everybody. But you're the ones that need to, you're the ones that can afford to take 1 or 2 days from work in protest. Not the man who needs that daily 2K, 3K hustle to feed himself and his family. You're the one that can do 1 week without any income and still be okay because of your bank account balance, or because you know what you can do tomorrow. Not the other guys, not the conductor, not the bus driver, not the trader in the market. It's the middle class that needs to rise up to start checkmating these things. But in every situation, you see them quiet. That's my main point. You hear them, you see them quiet. Nothing is being done across the spectrum in every aspect. Nothing. I can't see one. If it's happening, I can't see it. And if we cannot see it, then it's most likely not happening. Because we have a way of propelling these things to bring them, to bubble them up to the front so everybody knows what's going on. That's just my point. Granted, demolition was a bad example,
All
but
right.
you get the point. Thank you.
Thank you very much, TK. I believe we have thank you very much, Roy, for bringing these new speakers up. So I believe we have a lady here. Yesterday, somebody was complaining that yes, we don't allow ladies to speak. So all the gentlemen on this platform, please do bear with me. I know you guys might have been before her, but let me quickly allow the lady. I think it's V, right?
Yes.
V, you have the mic. Good evening.
Good afternoon. It's good to see you on Spaces. Yeah, so I actually requested the mic when you were initially speaking about the feelings that you were having. And I actually want to spend some time talking about Somi. I have not been on Spaces for a while after the last election. It was really hard, as you probably know, to kind of contend with Nigerian spaces in the same capacity. And it's bittersweet because that's where I met Sami, from those spaces that year and advocating in our capacity for good governance in Nigeria. And so it's really disappointing to hear about her loss. I cannot imagine what her family is experiencing, but I actually appreciated the sentiments of the speaker, Joe, who discussed, when things like this happen, how can you then ask those of us who were born abroad or who have this deep passion for Nigeria to consider coming home? I feel so much towards her passing because I see myself in her. I, everything that she wanted for Nigeria, I wanted for Nigeria. Like begging and pleading with my dad to let me live in Lagos, to let me live in Nigeria. And these are all his fears realized, right? So, of course, he's already been so against it. And this is why. This is why. It has nothing to do with us, being young people that actually care about the country. It's because no matter how much you love Nigeria, it can't save you from what Nigeria ends up being to everybody who loves it. Everybody. There's multiple instances that everybody on this space has said. And to be honest, I really think the leadership has absolutely no intention of doing anything about security in Nigeria because I almost think they want to frustrate everybody out of it. Like the person before that was discussing the middle class and why the middle class isn't speaking up. Maybe, just maybe, it's because those people that would speak up have left the country for their own sanity and for their own safety.
To her, I reached out to our correspondent in Abuja, who detailed the circumstances surrounding her death. She jumped down from her home when she heard about 14 armed robbers came to her home. And she did not die on the spot, Dr. Abati. She went to the hospital and she was rejected. And I'll tell you the name of that hospital. If you can continue with your thoughts, I'll bring out the name of that hospital, because this really is a tragic, tragic incident. Somi's life could have been saved, but the hospital rejected her. Dr. Bati, go ahead. Let me get the hospital.
Okay, this is heartbreaking, as you have said. This is sad. This is horrific. That lives will be lost in a country where there is a government and where the responsibility of government is to save lives and property. And yet, on a daily basis, we keep hearing these stories about Nigeria happening to persons. If people are not killed due to bandits attacks, insurgents attacks, terrorist attacks, they are killed even by circumstances of just being Nigerian. And that's why repeatedly we have said on this table that Nigeria happens to people. When Nigeria happens to you, we are left sitting here and paying condolences, expressing our regrets, condolences to families, to persons involved. This one has struck home here, and that's why we are all in black, mourning our colleague. It's very sad, it's very unfortunate, but it should be a subtle reminder that the Nigerian government still has a huge task to ensure that every Nigerian can feel safe in this environment. Anybody who comes into this territory called Nigeria can sleep at home. How can somebody be in a home and then armed robbers will go there? We used to say that armed robbery had been eliminated by 419, by petty crimes, by e-fraud, but to see that armed robbers are still actively at work